Alright guys, just out along the trail today, figured I'd try a bow drill set. So these trees right here are the poplars, and by far my favorite tree to make my set out of. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up, and we'll find a good piece. Alright guys, well I actually found a down piece that I'm going to go ahead and use. Look for, if you don't know what kind of wood you have, you always want to do the fingernail test, which is basically stick your fingernail into it, and if it makes an indentation, then it may be decent. So go ahead and harvest this piece out. Good, not too rotten. Sometimes I find this where the termites or whatnot have really got to it, and I've still made decent sets, but you got to worry about how badly it's compromised. See down here at the other end of this, some nice straight smaller pieces. Usually want something a little longer than the hyphen or the hang loose sign. Nice straight piece, straighter the better. It's a little too small for my taste. This one's just not quite straight enough, so I think I'm just going to take this one and whittle it down. Alright. Need to find something to make a bow with along the way and find a place to land. Always good to grab your tinder along the way, so see a lot of these dried up leaves. Gonna use possum mentality and take a bunch with me on the way. This looks great for the back of the bird's nest. That looks like a good bow. You basically want one as long as your arm is. I like mine a little crooked like this is. Go ahead and take this. Now that's some tinder material worth taking. Alright guys, so I just figured I'd talk about the tinder bundle real quick before I start. So as most of you know, you want the really small fibrous stuff, so I picked up these flowers along the way, these flower heads, and they're still connected to a little bit of green stuff, but I'll pull that off. Some other dried grass, a little bit of other grass. I was looking for more, but didn't see it along the trail. And a big stick bundle. So that's about all I have. So I'm just going to go ahead and use that and prepare my material on the inside there. So I'm going to basically kind of make this like a taco when I hold it up and blow on it. So go ahead and process this up and make a nice little kind of like egg in the middle of the nest, right? So just kind of take all these seed heads off and kind of rough them up. So it's better if you kind of pull them apart. So I'll go ahead and finish processing this off and get right back with you guys. Alright guys, so it's so humid out here, I'm already soaking wet and we haven't even started yet, but basically want it about the length of your arm there, and the way I like to process this out is make a little cut around it and then kind of shave into it and give me a ledge for my paracord. I'm just going to do that real quick. everywhere today too. Alright, and then I just kind of cut this out to give me a ledge to hang my paracord. Let me go ahead and show you guys this. Doesn't have to be deep, just something to give me a bite. And I'll go ahead and do that to both sides, and we'll continue on. Alright guys, so got it initially strung up here. Here's my little hold there. You can see it gets in the little groove there, and I just roped this around. Got 10 feet of cord here. I don't want to cut it, but once I get my spindle made, I'll set the tension on this right. So let's go ahead and get started. So with my board, alright guys, so with my board, basically want to flatten it off. You don't want to, generally don't want to take the center of the wood. The center is the hardest. If it was wet outside, you'd want to take maybe a more significant slice towards the inside to get towards drier material. It did actually sprinkle here this morning, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. But let's go ahead and cut this down here and see how she goes. Yeah, looking pretty good. I like this piece right here. I noticed, for me, I've noticed that if the sides are rounded, it has a bigger tendency to pop out the spindle out of the socket. So I do like to keep things flat, both on the top and on the sides. I can get a little better bite on that. Okay, that'll be sufficient. I'm only going to make the board for hopefully one go. We can obviously make more of it flat if we need to. I like my board to be approximately a ½ inch thick. And again, I do like the top to be flat as well as the sides, so I'm just trying to level this out a little bit. Alright, I think that's what we'll go with. As far as this guy, spindle again, I like it at least as long as my fingers. Alright, so there's our board we'll work with, and let's get on our spindle here. Spindle, again, like it basically as long as I hang loose, maybe slightly longer than that. I noticed that especially if I'm having trouble and I have to make several attempts, that the spindle gets shorter pretty quick, so I'd rather have it slightly long than short. Okay. And one thing I notice with my spindle, I like it about the size of my thickness of my thumb, and I like the edges to be kind of octagonal if I can make it that way. I find that I think it gives a kind of an additional hold on the spindle as it's working with the string. So let me go ahead and whittle this down a little bit, guys, and we'll get back at you. Alright guys, so the way I like to do my bow is I got it basically just a loop around the top, but I'll send the spindle through the way it should be and figure out how tight that is. That looks about right. And then what I'll do is I'll just tighten it up slightly more than that. So take like another ½ inch, maybe an inch, and then go from there. And it is really humid. You'd think I lived in Florida today or something. And just don't want to cut my cordage, so I'm just going to wrap it around here. And I'll recheck that the spindle works right. So it should go right up in there and lock tight, but not too tight. This thing came down. Let's pull that in through there a little tighter. There we go. Oh yeah, that's good. So hold on guys and we'll get prepped. Alright guys, so first we're just going to burn in. What that means, we're going to just basically take our spindle, figure out where we want it on the board, make a little divot there, and then I'm going to cut out just a little bit of the wood, give me something to work with. So the spindle can spin in there and basically begin to burn the wood. Flies are crazy. I don't know if you can see them on the video or not, but they're all over the place today. Wanted to get this video out for you guys though. Got a fire skills class coming up this month. Gonna be practicing this a lot with the students, so figured give you a little lesson in preparation for the class if you're coming. Alright, so you want your spindle, the way I do it is I just hold it like this, put the spindle up through the inside, and then twist it. And I think I'm done over here. Let me kick that back up. I should probably cut that deeper if it causes much more problems for me. Again, up through the center, twist it. Oh, and I gotta get my top rock here. Hold on, guys. So I carry a rock with me. My daughter found at the river has a nice little hole in it that I like to use for good luck. So again, we're not trying to go for an ember right now. We're just trying to get the spindle and the hearth board to mate. You want your foot right near your so you can hold it parallel. You wrap your wrist as tight as you can right around your shin. You want your back leg right behind your back foot so that you have full stroke action on with your bow. And, let's see, may not have made that divot deep enough. Alright guys, here's my top rock that I like to use. My daughter found this with a hole in it, so I like to use it for good luck. But yeah, so we're gonna just again basically just start with burning this in, basically mating the spindle with the hearth board. So then we'll set our notch. So again, you want to keep your foot nice and close to where you're headed. Spindle goes up through and then twists. Should be on the outside. Hopefully you guys can see that as opposed to in towards the bow. It should be on the outside. You lock your ankle or your wrist around your shin, and we're just going to see if we can get an initial burn here. Okay. Ooh, smells tasty. I love the smell of smoke in the morning. Here's our initial burn in. And we'll get prepped to move on. Alright guys, so here we go. The way I like to do this is I start out with quite a bit of pressure on it, not going so fast, and then just once I fill the notch with dust, then I go for speed. Here's a close-up of my notch. You can see it's actually probably bigger than you'll find a lot of people doing. I also like to round out the backside. I find it gives it more oxygen, and I just have better success with it. So that's the way I roll. So again, we're just gonna go low and slow at first with some heavy downward pressure until we fill the notch, and then we'll go for speed. Use full bow. Don't want that stuff getting in there. That's gonna mess me all up. Let's reset here. I can put some more bark under there to keep it clean. All right. That's good. Oh, fell out, but it looks like we got it, boys. Just let it breathe. Catch my breath. Shaking a little bit. small tinder, right? My thing was tilted back a little bit. You see all that black dust? I kind of wasted it. I should have. I could have put it in my thing as I was letting the ember gain traction, or I could have. I should have had my board tilted a little further. It must have been tilted back a little bit, and that's what caused it to go up on the board as opposed to into the notch. But there we go, boys and girls. Hope to see you at class. So there's the set. Rock, top rock, spindle, still got a little bit of heat on there, but not too much actually. And hearth board. Good stuff.